Welcome back. Today I am going to have out my 3006 by Savage. Now this model is the 110 High Country. It features a particle vacuum deposited barreled action trigger group and magazine system. Now it was later replaced by Cerakoting. I don't know if they decided that this finish just isn't as tough as what they wanted it to be. My model here actually is showing rust down on the trigger guard, where Cerakote will not show any rust because it's a paint that's applied. A particle vacuum deposit is a metal that is using a vacuum system in order to deposit the new finish on top of the stainless steel barreled action. Now from there, it does feature the AccuStock by Savage, which does have a 3 different comb heights you can install on your stock, and it also has a spacer system in the back to increase and decrease the length of pull. From there, we come up to the Picatinny base I selected. I went with a Precision Reflex Incorporated. This base is a 20 MOA solid steel base. From there, I went with the Precision Reflex Incorporated steel 30 millimeter high rings to hold on the Leupold VX5 HD in 3x15. This optic is just a standard duplex with a side focus. I did not go with the illuminated reticle or any of the other BDC reticles. It does have 2 full rotations of elevation you can do with a zero-stop turret. You can go through Leupold and have turrets custom made for your specific rifle. Now, as I said, this is in the 3006 Springfield, and what I'm going to be shooting today are 3 different rounds. I've got 2 by Federal, 1 by Hornady. This is going to be a Federal Premium. It's going to be, I believe, 165 grain Nosler Ballistic tip is one load, and then their gold medal 168 grain Sierra Match King will be another. And in the Hornady, it's going to be the Precision Hunter with 178. I gotta look that one up. 178 grain ELDX round. Be able to shoot those 3 and shoot some milk jugs with it just to see how each one of those rounds will perform when impacting something other than paper or steel. Other than that, the rifle is a spiral fluted barrel and a spiral fluted bolt, which does kind of give it a little bit more weight reduction. It's got a medium a medium heavy contour barrel on it. So the barrel contour is actually a heavier contour than the standard sporter. It's also featured on the 3006 here is a 5/8 by 24 thread with a thread protector installed. 3 position safety, and the other thing is on this 110, if you pull the trigger, your bolt release, I just messed that up, is located just forward of the trigger guard. It is no longer up here on these style of Savage actions for the bolt release. So you got to pull your trigger, push that button in, and then you'll be able to remove and reinstall your bolt. Now, as I said, it's got a 3 position safety. All the way back is going to be the 3rd position. It will lock your bolt up, so that way if you're going through any brush, you don't have to worry about your bolt accidentally getting knocked up. It's going to have a 3rd position, so this way if you want to load your rifle, you can load it and unload it in the safe position. Of course, to unload and load, it does feature a 3-round box magazine. Actually, it might be 4. Might be a 4-round magazine, then 5 total with 1 in the chamber. Anyways, coming back from there, you'll be able to obviously work your bolt in the fire position, and of course it will fire. The trigger system on this is the AccuTrigger, and I have it set to roughly around 3.5 pounds, which I think is what it would have came from factory. Now that is adjustable in a specific weight range. I don't remember what the range is on these models for the hunting rifles, but if you go to Savage's website, you'll be able to find out all the specifics there. Well, that's enough talking about the rifle. Let's do some shooting. Like I said, I got some milk jugs and a couple of pumpkins. This is my primary hunting rifle also. What I do with that is primarily whitetail. And what I also like to do is I'll have a spot where I get set up. I will use my laser rangefinder, range everything, and then use a ballistic calculator on my phone in order to figure out what my bullet drop is going to be for those areas. So that way, if any whitetail come out in specific areas, basically where their trails will come out into the like fields and stuff, I can actually have an idea as to what my adjustments need to be for any like wind and elevation adjustments, and I'll be able to make an adjustment from there. I traditionally shoot off of a tripod as well if I'm going to be sitting out, and that tripod is a ShadowTech Industries, the pig saddle tripod, and a pig saddle mount that'll sit up on top of it. An excellent system, very heavy duty. I actually use the tripod and ball head for most of my recording when I'm not using my one Insta360 Pro camera I'm using right now to record this. I'll usually use that for doing any slow motion, and I'll use my phone for most traditional recording. As I mentioned, let's go down, do some shooting, and see what we have for results. First up will be 5 rounds of Federal 165 grain Nosler Ballistic Tip hunting. This is a Federal premium round, and we're going to go ahead and shoot 5 rounds and see how it groups. Right, go down. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot the next 5 rounds, and we'll be back after I get the magazine ready. Next up, I have 5 rounds loaded up of the Federal 3006. This is a Federal Premium, and their gold medal round, which is loaded with a 168 grain Sierra hollow point match, one of the match kings. The lower target here, I've got 5 rounds, and it looks like the one of them, 2 in that one, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 rounds down here. That was the 165 grain Nosler ballistic tip. That is still about a inch-and-a-half group. Up here, we got 5 rounds, 2 of them in the same hole, and the 3 others are just a little bit off. That again is going to be about probably an inch-and-a-half to 1 3/4 inch group at 100 yards with the 168 grain Sierra Match King. Either one of those I think would be more than adequate for trying to take any whitetail with. The ballistic tip is what I used last year and will be most likely what I'm going to use again this year. Next up, I'm going to shoot the 178 grain Hornady round I have. Last up is the Hornady Precision Hunter. It is loaded with a 178 grain ELDX round. Right, let's go down to the target and see how we did. And we'll go and reset up and shoot some targets that are more fun. We have the 5 rounds of the ELDX at 100 yards. We've got 2, 3, 4, and 5, 2 of them right on top of each other. You're looking at a total spread of around 2 inches at 100 yards. A lot of that's going to be me. I haven't been shooting the 30-06 in quite a while, and it's got quite a bit more recoil than any of the ARs or the 308 that I've been shooting. So one thing to take into consideration when you're jumping up to a little bit larger guns is get more practice behind them because of the recoil. That's going to be your biggest change going from a larger caliber to a smaller caliber. Now you can go into a muzzle brake system, but I personally don't like the muzzle brakes when it comes to hunting because a lot of your hunting you're going to be doing without any kind of hearing protection usually. I do try to keep my electronic muffs on, but I don't always have them on when I go to shoot because I don't wear them all the time, and usually a whitetail comes out when you least expect it. So try to maybe go to like a suppressor would be a little bit better option, but I have not done any paperwork or gotten into any of that level of stuff yet. 168 grain hollow point Federal Premium Sierra Match King. Just caught the outside. 178 grain ELDX by Hornady in the Hornady Hunter line. Well, Precision Hunter line. That one hit hard. $165 grain Nosler hunting ballistic tip and Federal Premium. Nailed it, man. You can really hear those bullets hit. First up is a 178 grain Hornady Performance Hunter. See how this does against a 1 gallon milk jug of slime. Let's go down and take a look. Next up is a 168 grain Sierra Match King loaded by Federal Premium. Again, we're shooting the 30-06 at approximately 80 yards. Let's go down and check out the high speed. Well, slow motion. Last up is a Federal Premium 175 grain Nosler hunting ballistic tip. Ballistic tips are usually the most energetic. Oh yeah. Definitely want to stick with ballistic tips for shooting milk jugs. They are impressive. I am loaded up with 175 grain Nosler ballistic tip. We have a pumpkin down range and it is filled up with 2 gallons of water. Let's see what this does. Gonna clean off some farmer rain in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that was impressive. I cannot wait to see the slow motion on that. I'm out here hunting pumpkins today. And you want to take into consideration the best camouflage for hunting pumpkins is purple. Thanks to Farmer Rain for coming out with this limited purple raincoat. Not only is it going to provide me with excellent camouflage against these evil pumpkins, but it's also going to help to keep me dry in the upcoming fall weather here. Go ahead, I think I have one down here I saw. Go ahead and see if we can't get it. Beautiful. Excellent shot. Clean kill on that pumpkin. Man, I can't wait to go see what the carcass looks like.